perhaps explain to us why we are seeing the Nigerian market continuing to come under pressure at a time when investors are looking forward to the latest earnings from companies.
Hello, Godfrey. Thanks for having me. Like you said, we actually saw the NSA actually closing down 0.71% at 25,000, about 26,564 points thereabout. Gainer side, you had a few stocks gaining at 19, and loser side, you had about 39 stocks on the losers table. I would say, like, if you look at the Nigerian bourse for the beginning of this year, it's been a pretty impressive run for the beginning of this year up until now, and typically you expect some profit taking to come into the market, albeit also the fact that we tend to approach an election period where you find out a lot of real money accounts actually stay on the sidelines for now to wait to the outcome of the elections, and generally you just come into a phase where you have a bit of lackluster interest in the market at this point, and that's why you continue to see the slides, even though you might see some blip of a bounce in between. But I think on the general basis you see some form of support around this level for a time being.
Yeah, so we are down for a fourth day in a row despite the results that we've seen. For instance, yesterday we did have earnings coming through from Nigeria breweries, but investors don't appear swayed.
Well, I think, yeah, while investors actually would wait for the earning reports to actually see, make decisions on what to do, Nigerian breweries actually did push some interesting reports on their annuals, yeah, but I think it just provided some people a good point to exit whatever position they've had on those stocks. Not forgetting the fact that I said, if you check out for the start of the year, Nigerian exchange has been actually touted as one of the best performance so far at the beginning of the year up until maybe like mid-February or thereabout, where you begin to see some form of slide coming into the market. Yeah. I think even as the earnings coming, you might see people actually looking for good exit points at this point.
Yeah. Now, but what are we to make, if we can move on to the forex market, Nwabueze, what are we to make of the weakness that we've seen coming through on the Naira, given the high oil prices? I mean, we're seeing oil trading at $100 a barrel and has been so for quite a while now.
Fine, you've seen oil prices at high levels, but you've also seen some form of influx in demand at the CBN window. As a result, you've seen some pressure coming in on that front also. While typically during this period, demand in forex in the month of February, if you check 2 years back, even on to today, the one of this year has really been something out of way on a monthly basis. For the periodic cycles, we tend to see that you see this kind of pressure coming in on the back of that liquidity in the interbank market really has been not so much as previously expected or as we expect. So you see the pressure, the lack of supply and the CBN window actually filtering into the interbank market and also pushing a spike on the rates. We think we might see a bit of this actually continue to come into the market for a while. We see some form of weaknesses, and also don't forget the fact that we have people actually looking at the reserve level, and that becomes a driver to whatever decision they have to make as regards their foreign currency obligation. So whatever direction the reserve goes for now, you tend to see the market actually pushing into that direction in terms of the prices.
Yeah, but can we also read into this perhaps some nervousness and perhaps people trying to stock up ahead of those elections? Would there be any way in which we could see some kind of reaction from the market ahead of those elections?
Yeah, typically, I mean, like I said, what actually happened on the stock market, where you see most investors sitting on the sideline, you actually have it happening in the FX market, where some form of liquidity that ought to have come into the market are now out, and people that would rather want to stay flat or exit whatever positions they have are actually doing that pending the outcome of the election. So what you see, you continue to see some gradual weakening while you have a bit of strength in between, but overall thing, I think you see some form of weakening in the market for this period into the election.
Yeah, so I suppose we can understand why the reserves are dropping, because now we have them dropping from 34.5 billion in February 11 to 33.2 billion on February 28. Does that concern you, and does that concern the market that perhaps we could see a weakening of resolve on the part of the central bank to keep defending the shilling at the level that we're currently at now?
If you look at the overall reserve level, I mean, yeah, for the 2 weeks report, you actually saw some slide. But I think if you look at the start of the year up until now, they've actually been some gains in the reserve level. In terms of the CBN defending the Naira, I would rather say price stability is key to them, and I think they will push for it. I think over the period of time, we might actually begin to see some strong support coming from the earnings of oil at these levels. I think over a period of time you begin to see some strong support as a result of this high oil prices that we currently experience in the market. Yeah, you will tend to see the nervousness or the kind of wait and see attitude during the election period coming into the market, and as a result putting a bit of pressure on the Naira. But overall thing, I think we'll see some positive outlook after this period.